Hi students, this is your English book for the class 7 Honeycomb. So now today we are going to discuss the first lesson for your 7th standard class 7. So before we move on to the lesson, I have one question. What will you do if you have some questions which you are not able to find answers? So if I ask a question and if you are not able to find it, what you will do? So obviously you will go Google it, isn't it? So even if you can't find answers from your parents or your elders or someone, obviously everyone will go Google it. So now this is not possible for anyone who was in olden times. That is, there was a king and he had 3 questions. So now he is not able to find answers for these 3 questions. So he is going to he's having hard time finding answers for these 3 questions. So now what happens is the lesson. So a king had 3 questions and he is seeking answers to them. So he had how many questions? 3 questions. So what are the questions and what did he do and did he find the answers are the central theme of this lesson. So your first lesson is 3 questions. So let us go on. The thought came to a certain king. So there was a king and he would never fail if he knew 3 things. So the king thought if he knew the answers for 3 questions, if he could find out the answers for 3 questions, he will never fail. So he wanted to find answers for the 3 questions. So now what are the 3 questions? What is the right time to begin something? So what is the right time? First thing is right time. Which people should he listen to? So right people. So the first question is right time. Second question is right people. And what is the most important for him to do? What is the most important thing for him to do? So the third question is the most important thing, isn't it? So tell me, what are the 3 questions? First thing is right time, right people, and most important thing for him to do. So what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? And what is the most important thing for him to do? So these are the 3 questions which he wants answers for. And so what he did, obviously he did not have any Google or internet connection for him. No 5G, no 3G. So what he did, the king therefore sent messengers. So the king sent messengers to different places for them to find out the answers. So he also promised a large sum of money. So he said he will give rewards for anyone who comes with the answers. So many wise men came to the king. Everybody came to the king and they gave different answers. They didn't give one answer for one question. They gave different answers. So let us find out what and all answers he got for each of his question. So first question, what was it, children? What is the right time for the king to do anything? What is the right time to begin something? So first question, what he got? Some said he should prepare a timetable. So the king was given answer that he should prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. So the king was given, the first answer is preparing a timetable. And then others said, so let us see, we'll read it again. In reply to the first question, some said the king must prepare a timetable and then follow it strictly. Only in this way, they said, could he do everything at its proper time. So that is the first thing. So others said that it is impossible to decide in advance the right time for doing anything. So they said it is impossible for them to find out the right time. So one said preparing a timetable, other said it is not possible to find out. The king should notice all the things and avoid foolish pleasures and always do whatever seems necessary for him. Seemed necessary. So they said whatever seems necessary for the king at that right moment or that particular moment, the king should do that. So sticking to the timetable and all is not going to work. Because some different problems arises at different times and the king should act according to his wish and knowledge. That is the second reply. And again they said Yet others said the king needed a council of wise men. They said one person cannot decide anything. If the king should have a group of wise men and who would help him act according at the proper time. This was because one man could find it impossible to decide correctly without help from others the right time for every action. So now others said that some matters will be very urgent, and if the king is going to a council of ministers and they will discuss and they will come up with the answer, it will be like our Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Nobody will get answers for immediately. So we will not get anything, or it will be very precise. It will be like our Supreme Court and High Court. One person will start a case, and when he dies also he will not get any answer. So there will be lot of questions. So it will be very urgent issues. So what will happen? They will not get answers. So they are saying it is useless. So instead of that, what they are giving the reply, it is better to have Supreme Court itself for the fourth answer, because they said magicians should be assisting the king because they will know the future. So they will come up with good remedies. So these are the things which the answers for the first question. So first question. Second question, see, in the answer to the second question, what they said, what is the second question, children? What the king, who's the person the king should listen to, isn't it? Let me see. Which people should the king listen to? That is the second question. So, what they gave answers, let us see. So, they said, the counselors are the most important people the king should listen. The others said the priest is the important person. Then few others said the doctors. So here also multiple answers. There is no single answer. One is saying counselors, one is saying priest, and the other is saying doctors. So we'll move on to the third question. Tell me what is the third question? Which is the most important thing the king should do? So the king should give importance to. So some said he should give importance to science. Some said he should choose fighting, because obviously kings at that though in the past they were fighting frequently for having possession over other territories. So yet others also gave another thing, that is religious worship. So there are three different answers. So he got three different answers for the third question also. So obviously there is no single answer for his question. So as the answer to his questions was so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward, because there was no satisfaction for the king, because everybody gave different answers and king was not satisfied that this is the perfect answer for his question. He did not give anyone the reward. So see, for the first question they said the king should prepare a timetable, or he should do according to the necessary time whatever seems to him as important. Some said that he should have a council of wise men, and some said that there are a lot of urgent issues, so he should have an assistant of the magicians. For the second question, they said the counselors, priests and doctors are the important people. Some said, for the third question, they said he should give importance to science or fighting or religious worship. So obviously they all together they confused the king like anything. So the king was not satisfied with all the answers which came to him. So now what he decided? He decided he will go seek the answers himself. So now what he decided is, as the answers to his question was so different, the king was not satisfied and gave no reward. Instead, he decided to seek the advice of a certain hermit who was widely known for his wisdom. So he was known for his wisdom. You know who is a hermit, children? See, there is a meaning given here in your book itself. A hermit is a person who lives alone and leads a simple life. So in simple terms, you can say a rishi kind of a person. Okay, so he is a person who is not attracted to any richness or wealth or whatever it is. So he leads a very simple life and he is wise. Okay, so he is living in the woods. Woods means forest. So the king is planned to go there. So, but there is a problem. The hermit sees only simple people, which he never left. The hermit lived in the woods, which he never left. He saw no one but simple people. He saw only simple people. And so the king disguised himself. He put ordinary clothes, and before he reached the hermit's hut, the king left his horse and his bodyguards and went alone. So he put on simple clothes and he went to the hermit because he was known for his wisdom, and he disguised himself with simple clothes and he wanted to know the answers for his question. So at last he reached the house, he left his horse and the bodyguards and went to the hermit. As the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw the hermit digging the ground in front of his hut. So what was the hermit doing? He was digging the ground in front of his hut. So the king greeted the king and continued digging. The hermit saw the king coming near him and he greeted him, and then what he did? He continued digging pits in front of his house. So the hermit was old and weak, and as he worked, he breathed heavily. So because he is old and weak, because it is a heavy work, he was not able to hold his breath. He was very tired. The king went up to the hermit and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I need most? And what affairs are the most important? So he had asked 3 different questions. All these 3 questions he wants answers from the hermit. So the king travelled and he asked the question finally. But what did the hermit reply? The hermit listened to the king but did not speak. He went on digging. He did not answer anything. So when the king was seeing the hermit digging and he is old and weak, he was very tired. So what did he say? You are tired, said the king. Let me take the spade and work in your place. So the hermit is very tired and he looked very tired. So the king said he is going to take his place. He is going to do the hermit's work. Thanks, said the hermit. Giving the king his spade, he sat down on the ground. So the hermit gave the king the spade and the king started digging in the place of the hermit. So see children, there is a picture of a simple hut in middle of the woods. There is a little forest, small forest, and there is a hut which is very simple. And look at the hermit, he is very old and he is having a spade in his hand, and there is a small bed of pit which he has been digging, and this is the king which is who's in simple clothes. He has come to see the hermit and he is digging in front of his house. So now what happened? The king started digging in the place of the hermit. Okay. So now, when the king has dug 2 beds, that is 2 rows of pits, he stopped and repeated his question. So now he has dug how many beds? 2 beds, and now he stopped his work and he's asking the question again. The hermit gave no answer. He did not answer the question. Instead, what he said? He said, okay, now you stop the work, I will do my work. So he gave the answer. The hermit gave no answers, but he stood up, stretching out his hands for the spade and said, now you rest and let me work. But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. The king did not give him. So the king said, okay, I will continue. He thought, I will continue, and he started doing the work again. 1 hour passed. Then another. The sun went down behind the trees. So it was evening. And at last the king struck the spade into the ground and said, I came to you, wise man, for an answer to my question. If you can give me no answer, tell me so, and I will return home. So the king is exhausted because more than 2 hours, it was already evening, and he is continuously digging pits in front of the hermit's house, and now he is asking the question. See, I came to you for finding the answers for the question. If you don't know the answer, tell me, I will go home. So now the hermit is saying, here comes someone running. So there is someone running behind, and they are coming towards the hut. So this is the first part of the lesson, children. So let us revise back. So there was a king and he had 3 questions, and he wants to find answers for the 3 questions because he thought that if he found the answers for these 3 questions, he will never fail. So what are the 3 questions? What is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? And what is the most important thing for him to do? These are the 3 questions which the king wanted answers. So he sent lot of messengers to different places, saying them that he would give rewards, large sum of rewards, whoever comes up with the answers. So the first question, they said there are a lot of answers for each and every question. They said timetable, some said it should be done in necessary time, and some said a council of wise men should be appointed. Some said because there are a lot of urgent things, so magician should be there. So the first, second question, they said counselors, priests, and some said soldiers, doctors, all those answers they have given. So for the third question, they said science is important, fighting is important, and religious worship is the most important thing the king should do. So the king was not satisfied with these answers because it was so different. He decided to go to a hermit for the answer. Disguising himself in simple clothes, he went to the hermit. The hermit was digging pits in front of his house, and he greeted him, but he continued digging. So king took his position and he also started digging for the entire day. By the end of the day, the king asked him if he had no answer, tell him he will go back. That time the hermit said, "Here comes someone running," said the hermit. Okay, so this is the part 1 of this lesson. So we'll continue the lesson with the part 2. Okay.